Well, hi, we're in Belgium at the moment, and yes, a long way from home. And the subject's not woodwork today, it's going around some old war graves and cemeteries and seeing the Menin Gate. And that's because we've got quite a lot of relatives who are in the war. And Sarah does family history, and we've been tracking a few down. So at the moment, we've just come to Artillery Wood Cemetery, and we're going to find one of her cousins. Well, there's something like first cousin 3 times removed, so quite a distant relation, but actually also related to one of the other cemeteries that we'll be visiting as well, where there's someone else buried. And you really do begin to understand a terrible loss of life in the First World War. So anyway, here we are. We'll see if we can find a grave. We've been looking at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, which lists where people are buried, so that helps narrow it down a lot. These cemeteries do look beautiful. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission actually tries to plant them up so they look a bit like a nice sort of English country garden, and the variety and selection of plants is very nice. I mean, any gardener I think would be proud of these. You just go along and nice little selection of plants. They're beautifully maintained. I mean, there's not a weed in sight. I think I'd be proud of this if it was my allotment. So I grow quite a lot of vegetables, but I do a few flowers. I mean, these graves, you know, you just look over and look. People's lives. It's a terrible loss. Great sacrifice that these people made. You do have to, you know, admire them and hope we don't have more wars. But, you know, the courage of these people, a lot of them were quite young, going out to do their duty, fight for freedom. I mean, anyone thinking about war should come and visit a graveyard like this, a cemetery, and make sure it's the right course of action. In Ypres itself, as we're saying, in Ypres, just for the day actually, we're coming back from Holland, but there are a few sort of museums, and you see personal effects in the museums, and it sort of brings it all to life. So you see things like people's razors and buttons off their tunics, and you know, it's just the human side. And then you look along these graves and you see whole sort of families. So you see 3 brothers, all the same name, the same regiment. It's very difficult to comprehend the tragedy that some families must have faced and the loss. But it's nice to see that they're honoured in these beautifully maintained cemeteries, and that they're respectfully kept going, and they do look really nice. Have you managed to...
He's over here.
Ah.
Yeah. And he's got a rose bush, and do you remember his grandparents had that rose? There we are. Is he? There he is. ECD.
Oh yes, here we are. Second Lieutenant ECD Radcliffe, Royal Welsh Fusiliers. 31st July 1917. Again, age 22. Each of these gravestones, it has the regimental insignia carved into the stone. So you do get a lovely variety. You think they're all the same when you look at them from a distance, but actually each stone has a different carving, well, depending on the regiment. In this case, the person's tombstone's been taken away for renovation, so for the temporary plaque in place. The stones are kept beautifully clean. So here we have a group who are all in the Northumberland Fusiliers, and they all died presumably on the day of a battle or something like that, 31st October 1917. All the same date, same regiment. Some of the stone carvings, lovely on these. I mean, it does give you a bit of inspiration for some nice wood carving. Here's another nice carving. This is the Monmouthshire Regiment. This is the Seaforth Highlanders. And here we have the Gordon Highlanders. Every evening at precisely 8 p.m. in Ypres, the last post is sounded at the Menin Gate. The Menin Gate, and its model here, is a very large memorial that lists the names of 54,000 troops who went missing in action. And we went to see it to try and find one of Sarah's relatives that is actually on the Menin Gate memorial walls. Well, this is panel 9 on the Menin Gate, and after a lot of searching on panel 9 we have found Tyndall. So that's actually Sarah's maiden name, so Hugh Tyndall, H. Tyndall, who was a Lance Corporal in the Honorary Artillery Company.
My great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather, right. So Sarah's great-grandfather, Alfred Horsford, is the one we're trying to find, and this cemetery is Bard Cottage. Lieutenant Colonel. So he's in a water battery. A. So we need to go along and find 27. Sarah has found it, I think. So, what have we got?
Oh yeah, he's got extra words as well.
Lieutenant Colonel A.G. Horsfall.
Yeah, there he is.
Distinguished Service Order. Duke of Wellington's regiment. 9th October 1917. And he was quite old, wasn't he? He was 41. A wooden cross for Sarah's grandfather. Well, let's hope we never forget. 100 years on, and I'm sure we'll have these people in our memories for many years to come. I hope you've enjoyed the film, and thanks for watching.